Hello, everyone. Welcome to what feels like a wintry edition of GBC Live. Tonight, we're going to get ready for this weekend's Send It Saturday ride out of Maverick Cycles. We have the owner, Kevin Kang, coming on, and Brandon Paff. Did I get that right? Shake your head, yes or no? No. Okay. He'll correct me in a little bit. But to help design the route, shot some great shots for the Radivist of Maverick Cycles. We're going to talk not just that it's also a bike coffee shop, but also the merchandise there is super cool looking. They just dropped a whole bunch of new jerseys about a month ago. So a lot of great stuff coming out of there. I'll bring Kevin in about a few seconds. Let me just add that next week we're going to be talking about the Shasta Gravel Hugger with Ben Brainerd. They moved it back a week. There was snow last year, and look, we got a lot of snow in the state. We're not really showing that as much, but I know Mammoth ski season has started. And then I think we're going to take our break until next year. And hopefully we'll get the Redlands people on. That's kind of been a time-honored tradition to start the year off with them. So Redlands Strata Rosa 10 is coming up. So last year was Rock Cobbler 10. And so, yeah, it's going to be another special edition. So anyways, let me bring Kevin in and say hello, hello. Good evening, Kevin.
Good evening. Thanks for having me tonight.
Great to have you
this
on.
Is my first time doing. Yeah.
Yeah. No. I mean, it's pretty much just like $10,000 pyramid, except the stakes are way higher, and the prizes, keep escalating into the millions. So no pressure here. But how you doing?
Good. Just finished work, came home, had dinner, and just sitting, waiting for the show.
Well, I came out a little over a month ago to the Gravel and Burgers ride, and I know you've got a lot of rides out of there. But I'd been to Whittier before, but it was my first time to Maverick Cycles, and yeah, it's quite, I don't know, would you call it a boutique, a shop, a coffee house, all that? But it just, for something that size, you just have a lot of flavor flowing all over the place.
I mean, it's just one of the regular bike shop with just little different vibes, I say. Yeah, this is it was my dream that one day if I open a shop at a bike shop, then there gotta be a coffee, and yeah, I made it happen.
Well, I noticed that you had a lot of non-cyclists come in there just for the coffee. So that's kind of like a nice balance when bike shops aren't just bike shops, but people come in just for the for the coffee. That's a pretty good duality you have going on.
Yeah, it's technically a bike shop serving coffee, but non-cyclists, the customers come here, and then they were like, "Oh, this is like a cool coffee shop with a bike theme." So either way it works. It could be a bike shop with coffee or a coffee shop with bikes.
Well, like all the knickknacks you have in there, and we'll show some of them from Brandon's shots in a little bit. But it's very well curated. I'm wondering, how did you get all these posters, these little small statuettes, everything that you kind of fill the shop with?
Well, I didn't really plan anything, but it just like in my head. Like one day, if I had if I open a retail shop, like a bike shop, and gotta be coffee, and this I don't know. It just in my head, like it would be a wood and like a metal kind of look and feel to it, And yeah, like once I um, decided to open a shop, then everything came to in my head like all at once, and then I started collecting, buying, and the water bottle display nearby the restroom. I don't know if you've seen it. Those are actually there's a story behind. So I used to collect all the like a limited edition or something interested design water bottles. Like who doesn't have like 100 water bottles? Any cyclist, right? But yeah, I'm just like buying all these, cool design water bottles, and then it's stacked up, and then taking spaces, and then one day my wife tried to trash them all, and then she got caught, and then like, what are you doing? And she said like, hey, this is full of trash, and no, like one day it was way before Maverick Cycles, so like, I mean, one day I might use this something for something. And yeah, when I just decorating a shop, I see like huge empty space nearby the restroom, and maybe this is it. So I start putting those water bottles like one by one, and it became a nice decorate now.
Well, I want to bring in because I guess maybe like the third arm of Maverick is a lot of the cool. Pretty much, you've got a lot going on here in terms of
Uh,
jerseys and um, long sleeves, bib shorts, bottles, wallets, and you've got like a really like cool aesthetic. Especially like I love those floral um, shirts, but like where did like the merchandise part come into the whole Maverick Cycles bit?
um, well, Maverick Cycles is technically a bicycle company. Is
Mm-hmm.
so our main business is actually bicycle frame,
Mm-hmm.
but uh, yeah, I realized like, yeah, we can just sell bicycle frame for business, and um, I have a partner, and they were discuss about it, and like what could be uh, another option we can expand the business. So yeah, we started making jersey, bib shorts, like t-shirts, and then since our bikes are kind of adventure theme bicycle frames, so like mostly like a gravel for gravel bike packing, like single speed. So we started making bike packing merchandise, and yeah, I'm happy.
Well, I mean, so these bikes are steel frame, steel fork for the most part, or
Yeah, some so the one you're looking at, the orange one, is called the Gravel.
hmm
This is a touring frame, where it comes with Renault 725 tubing and steel fork with the holes you can attach, rack, uh, different parts. So this is a touring frame, and we also have a gravel specific frame called the Santos, and that one is pretty much the same tubing, but it comes with the full carbon fork.
see if I can pull that up. Um, yeah, it's funny because I was talking to Brandon a little bit before off camera that I'm working on a video that
Uh-huh.
is my biggest adventure so far, and somehow I decided to go with my heavy all steel bike. Um,
Mhm.
and for this trip I thought it was the right choice, because obviously steel has a different feel and it was a multi-day
Mhm.
trip. And
Mhm.
um, I know we're a very carbon centric industry here, but
Uh-huh.
steel, I think everyone should own at least one steel bike if you can get your hands on one.
Right.
um,
I mean, I do love carbon bikes, to be honest, but for the gravel, riding on the dirt, I like steel, like riding steel. You, I don't know if you do you have a steel bike?
Yeah, I have a
Yeah.
rally.
Hmm.
Um, uh, I don't use it too much, like in terms of like if I'm doing a lot of heavy climbing,
Hmm.
then that bike kind of weighs me down a little bit. But
Uh-huh.
if I'm doing a lot of kind of like rollers, I
Hmm.
really like it because it really maintains its momentum really well.
Uh-huh.
um, and just feels kind of smooth. And if you're going to
Hmm.
be doing a super long ride,
Hmm.
sometimes like that smoothness really pays off. And obviously, being able to with all the eyelets on there seems to be very versatile.
Yeah.
And um, and yeah, I've never ridden a steel bike with a carbon fork, so
Hmm.
obviously that would
Oh,
make it a little bit lighter.
yeah.
But I really, my bike really has a place.
Hmm.
And yeah, and oh, yep, Amanda is on it. Steel
The
is real.
real.
So yeah, so maybe we'll get a frame builder on, because we get a lot of steel questions,
Uh-huh.
as well. um, but yeah, I mean, a lot, most of the merchandise you have is also at the store.
Hmm.
But in terms of the jerseys design, like I don't think everything on here, like your new releases, may be on here, um, but you just have like a very clean looking uh aesthetic,
Uh-huh.
that
Thank,
is,
thank
very,
you.
which I think is really a calling card for cycling. You want it to be clean, and just the colors you have here.
Hmm.
Um, I've tried. Sometimes
Uh-huh.
I've kind of failed on my mixing,
Uh-huh.
but uh, tell us a little bit about the design process. Like, how do you get the because I know the colors of themselves are
Uh-huh.
always hard to get, and sometimes once they show up right in the front
Hmm.
door, you're like,
Uh-huh.
oh, this is just a little off.
Yeah. So like I always before we pull the trigger, I go discuss with my partner, and we talk about concept and yeah, what could be next. And yeah, this season for this the winter season collection, we wanted to make more like colorful a concept, like a design that most of the companies, like pretty much everyone has a black and white jersey,
Hmm.
a black bib short. So we wanted to try something new, not too flashy, but something like a playful. You can mix and match like any color or any color jersey or bib short. You can just mix it up and then grab it and then go out riding with. So that's how this design and then color the concept came.
Well, let me bring in Brandon. He's been waiting patiently here in the bullpen, and
Okay.
say hello here. Hi, Brandon. How you
Hey,
doing?
good. Hey, Zach. Hey,
Hey,
Kevin.
Brandon.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
So,
Good. Thanks.
I met Brandon at the Gravel and Burgers ride, um, and I already knew of his work that he did when he shot that feature that was in the Radivist. And he was kind of telling. Well, I mean, first of all, Brandon, can you clear up how I botched your last name?
Yeah, it happens a lot. It's Boff. So it's but silent P. It's it sounds like Foff really is how you pronounce it, but it's not a big deal. I'm used to it at this point.
Okay. Um, yeah, yeah, I'm guilty. My last name is Rhinu, but it's actually Harinu, so it's Rhinu. Uh, so, but you were telling me, like, you live nearby and you came across this shop and kind of started having a relationship with the whole thing. And I think that kind of is like the story. Well, not everyone in LA gets to have like a neighborhood shop, and like a place to congregate nearby. But tell us about your story or connection here with Maverick.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. You know, I've lived in the general area for the last 20 years or so. I was in Fullerton for about 10 years and moved back to Whittier about 4 years ago now. And you know, the location Mavericks, then I'd seen that throughout the years. My parents lived nearby, and it was like a florist at one point. It's always been kind of abandoned, and always thought, hey, that would be a great coffee shop or bike shop or something. And so, you know, I live in the neighborhood, and one day I was riding my bike past and saw a bike in the window, and I'm sure that was kind of the beginning stages of Kevin setting up shop and getting things going. So, you know, for me, this is an area that has, you know, a number of like great bike shops like Fullerton Bikes and La Habra Cyclery and the Cyclery in La Mirada. But we don't have a lot of like central place to congregate. You know, there's not a Cub House or Golden Saddle or any of those places. Something like that that's like community focused. So yeah, I was very excited to see Maverick come along and just the vibe there. And so yeah, I thought it would be a great opportunity to kind of put something together and tell Kevin's story and Maverick's story, and you know, highlight that out for the rest of the world and put a article together for that.
Now, I want to backtrack a little bit because, you know, I would say Los Angeles is a very big area,
Yeah.
and most Angelinos aren't like connected to every corner. The county's got 10 million people. So, but, you know, I've been to Whittier, and Kevin, how much were you looking to open a shop in this neighborhood? Because obviously, you know, the the other character in this whole story is like all the great riding just up in the hills above it.
Mhm.
Were you consciously trying to open a shop in Whittier, or was it just an opportunity, or you just
Oh,
just said this is the place?
it was just a random opportunity. I was looking for actually I was looking some spaces in Fullerton area because I live in Fullerton, but I couldn't find any places. I've been just driving here and there, just like looking for spaces for days and a week. And one day I just brought my bike, and then I want to see every single small streets. So like make a zigzag, and then I make a point to point, and then just riding my bike. And uh, I actually never been to Whittier. I live like right next to it, but you know, I have no business to visit like Whittier area. But you know, let me just like ride it through. And then I was on I took a Beach Boulevard and Whittier Boulevard, and just started riding my bike. And then all of a sudden, I saw the building here. Uh, it looks like a big like old gas station, and it has like leasing sign on the window. And then I looked at it, and then just I had a feeling like this is it. That this is exactly what I wanted. So I just called them, and they said, "Oh, there's two more candidates. Like, what are you trying to do?" They were asking, and I want to do bikes and coffee. And then they were like, "Huh?" Because like they said the other candidates tried to do some like gift shops or flower shops, but then yeah, they were really interested in my idea, and I ended up taking the spot.
Hmm.
Yeah, now it's a
Bike
Maverick bicycle shop.
bike flower shop. That'd be interesting. Well, I mean, you know, the other thing which I think, you know, is a great part about it is it's not necessarily you've got a freeway running right through Whittier, which I think is like a
Mhm.
huge asset in terms of being able to really feel like a neighborhood. You know, as you know, like the
Mhm.
downtown area has, you know, tons of, you know, homes around the turn of the century. You definitely
Mhm.
feel that vibe
Mhm.
going around the neighborhood.
Mhm.
But I think a lot of people just aren't attuned to the dirt in the area, and give everyone a brief overview, of all the riding up there before we'll get into the route, but either of you.
I can jump in. Yeah. You know, Turnbull Canyon is probably the most notable area around here, and you may have heard of it. Like, if anyone follows like Tinker Juarez and his whole cycling journey, that's a place he trains. And honestly, if you want to figure out where to ride gravel and steep climbs in La Habra and Whittier, you should just follow Tinker Juarez on Strava, and you'll find all those routes. But the main thing above Whittier and La Habra, in between those cities and like Hacienda Heights area, is the Pointy Hills Habitat Preserve, basically, and they manage Powder Canyon, Turnbull Canyon, and so it's just that ridge that runs above the city there is just it's a fire road and a bunch of single tracks connected off of that, so you can really ride from the far east end of La Habra to the far west end of Whittier, taking fire roads and kind of more rural roads through the heights. So it's a pretty, honestly, it's, for me, I really enjoy how secluded it feels, and there's not much traffic once you kind of get up into a little bit of elevation. But yeah, so Turnbull Canyon is the main feature, and then Powder Canyon, which comes off of Shabaram Park in Hacienda Heights. But yeah, I guess in terms of the terrain, though, it's not too technical, but it's quite steep, so you can put a lot of elevation together in not many miles.
Well, yeah,
I feel thankful. Yeah.
Go ahead. Oh, go ahead,
Yeah,
Kevin.
I feel thankful we have like. Sorry, like my reception is not that great here, but yeah, I feel thankful being really close to like Turnbull Canyon. I wasn't really familiar with the Turnbull Canyon, but once I've been on Turnbull Canyon on a road bike, but once I tried a gravel bike or mountain bike there, it's a whole another level of fun. And then now I see a lot of people. I was pretty surprised when I opened a shop. Like weekends, the majority of customers are cyclists. They just come for coffee, just hang out. And I always ask, hey, where are you guys riding today? Like, even now, more than half of the cyclists say, oh, we just rode a Turnbull Canyon, Chibaram, Powder Canyon. Yeah, every weekend. It's pretty crazy. But
Well,
I understand. I feel the same.
Oh, just even when I was there, I just noticed it felt like the volume you see in the Santa Monica Mountains sometimes of all the weekend riders going up there, and I was pretty impressed. I was like, oh yeah, and it didn't seem like it was that busy for cars going through, so just felt like a place where cyclists felt very comfortable, and just every type of rider seemed to be out there just kind of enjoying that hill.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want to bring on this piece of the cycles that I guess Brandon shot, and makes me jealous because I'm really terrible with the camera, but these look really clean. But just so people get like an idea of the shot, because I realized I didn't get great video of it. But so Brandon, how did this happen? Did you approach the Radivist about this, or how did you get this in there?
Yeah, it's an interesting story. I actually worked for, it's not the case anymore, but the Radivist used to be part of the Pros Closet. I worked for the Pros Closet for a little while. So, had some connection and was coworkers with the editors of the Radivist. And so the timing worked out in the sense that Maverick, popped up in the neighborhood, and I was working for that company at the time, and, pitched this idea, and it made sense for an article to get published. So it came together quite easily that way. It was an easy in. But additionally, around the same time, I started joining the Maverick kind of regular gravel rides. So usually once a month, there's a gravel focused ride going up the Turnbull. So I try to join those as much as I can. So, just after joining those, just thought, hey, this would be a great community to capture and put together in a story.
Yeah, I mean, definitely one thing you do highlight, Liz was saying at the top of the program, are the details and variety of little things you see in the shop, and like I even see there's the little bicycle here in the background, but all the different bottles and just how much flavor was in here. What camera did you shoot this all on?
This one's on I don't have it anymore, but I used to use an Olympus Micro Four Thirds camera, so just a small, like, compact. It's not really a DSLR, but it's just a compact Micro Four Thirds format camera. So pretty run of the mill thing, nothing special, but was a great camera for taking on the bike with me, and didn't take up too much space.
Let's see, as we're going through making coffee. Yes, like these little figurines. Like I love these little figurines. Kevin, no one has tried to swipe these yet, have they?
No.
I mean, they're super cool. I know my daughter would really dig it. Well, let me quickly go back, and I want to talk a little bit about the route. It's about 30 miles, I believe. And let me go ahead. But I know Brandon, this was a little bit longer than the route that that I come for the week last month for the gravel and burgers. But as I gracefully pull this all up, yeah, here we go. So it's about 30 miles and about 3,000 feet of climbing. But let's why don't you walk us through the route here as we start out of this Google mapped 3D Maverick Cycles.
All right, I'll give it a shot here. So yeah, you see Maverick right there on that interesting 5-point intersection in Whittier. I think it's the only one in Whittier, definitely. So we're gonna head west through East Whittier. Maverick's in what's called East Whittier. We head west up towards Uptown Whittier, which is kind of the older part of the town. You'll see a lot of older craftsman houses, Victorian houses, things like that. And maybe a little different from the gravel and burgers ride that we did last month. We're going to head more through the middle of Uptown, not quite down the main street, but through some of more of the neighborhoods instead of the busier street Painter Avenue. Mm-hmm. So as you can see here, we roll up. You can see Whittier College actually on the right, so we'll pass Whittier College. That's kind of a long-standing institution in Whittier, and yeah, it's a great view of Uptown Whittier. We'll go right through there. And as we kind of head up the hill, where it starts to turn towards the dirt is Beverly Avenue, which will turn into Turnbull Canyon Road. And it's about, I think it's 4 or 5 miles until you get to this turnoff. And to be honest, it doesn't feel like it when you're riding it, but you cover quite a bit of elevation, honestly, just to get to the dirt. I believe it's 300 or 400 feet in the first couple of miles. But it's kind of, you don't really notice it. So when you get to this point, this is where we're going to be turning off the road onto the Turnbull Canyon Fire Road. And I'll mention here, I think someone had mentioned, I think Kevin had mentioned, he had ridden the road before. Turnbull Canyon Road itself is also a great road ride. There's all kinds of, beyond just gravel, there's Turnbull Canyon Road and a lot of connecting roads up here that are great road rides as well. Kind of heading back on the dirt, we head up the main fire road in Turnbull Canyon. I believe it's called the Rose Hills Fire Road. And it's a pretty steady climb. It starts out probably 5-6% as you head down the main kind of straight stretch, and then we move into some switchbacks. That then it starts to really kind of pick up. It's 9-10% at points as we head to the top, and from there, we'll make a stop off at what you're seeing here with this kind of turn to the left and around. It's headed towards the Turnbull Canyon radio tower, which, if anyone's seen pictures of Turnbull Canyon, you've probably seen it. This kind of cylinder with a bunch of graffiti on it. That's kind of the first central stopping point in the route. And it gives you a great view. You can see downtown LA. Hopefully we have a clear day. We can see downtown LA. You can see Catalina Island. You can see ocean from there, if the conditions are right. And then, up into this point, it's mostly just a pretty straightforward fire road, some steepish climbs. But then we head towards what's called the 7th Street Loop, which is where it gets, I would say the fun level increases definitely. You get into more single track. And I wouldn't say it's overly technical or anything like that, but you drop down in elevation quite a bit. You can see in the map some real tight switchbacks getting to the bottom of that canyon. And then you run along the bottom of that, and there's a number of switchbacks to climb back up. And this is probably one of the more challenging parts of the route, to be honest. It's where the group tends to spread out, and we need to regroup at the top more. But this is honestly, I think, one of the most fun pieces of Turnbull Canyon. It's challenging. You kind of transport into this area that's covered with live oaks, and it doesn't feel like you're exposed in the sun like the top of the fire road does. So this is really one that I think everybody on the normal rides looks forward to, is coming down this back way. So we'll climb out of there and end up meeting back up with the main fire road that we came in on. From there, it heads out back to pavement for just a little stretch to get over to Turnbull Canyon Road. You'll see where it turns right there. Then we cross Turnbull Canyon Road and we head up. It's called Workman Hill, and we follow what's called the Shabaram Skyline Trail, and that's kind of the central trail that most of the route follows on Saturday. So you'll see it run over the hills here. It's pretty flowy, fire road, not too much of a climb at this point. And then this is really where we leave Turnbull Canyon, and we're going to be hopping on Colima Road. So if anyone's driven over in the Hacienda Heights area, you've probably, if you've been to the Pointy Hills Mall, Colima Road runs past there. We'll take Colima all the way down to Shabaram Park, and this is kind of a good break, get your breath, kind of chill for a minute. It's a good separation between the two dirt sections. And then we enter Shabaram Park, which is the entrance to, at least on the Hacienda Heights side, it's the entrance to Powder Canyon. And it's a good spot for water. We'll stop for water here. There's shade, bathrooms, things like that. But yeah, this Powder Canyon, this is where, Zach, we didn't get a chance to get all the way over here on the last route, but I'm excited that we're going to come over here because it's one of my favorite rides, is connecting these two. And I tried to put together a route that I think experiences both of these kind of in the direction that I find to be the most fun and interesting. So we're going to come up through Shabaram, and right out of the gate, there's these switchback climbs to get back to the top of the ridge there. And I'd say this is honestly one of my favorite pieces of trail in the Powder Canyon and Turnbull Canyon area. It's just a really fun switchback, whether you're going up or down it. We're going up it in this case, but we start with that, and then we're going to run around the edge of Powder Canyon on the fire road, and that'll get us close over to Harbor Boulevard. If anyone's familiar with that, Harbor kind of connects over to La Habra. It's kind of the north-south connector of these two areas. So once we get to the kind of Harbor Boulevard area, we're going to jump on the other main fire road within Powder Canyon to take us back up to the top of the ridge and connect up with the Shabaram Skyline Trail again. This section's pretty fun too. I will say we're saving some of the steepest stuff for last. There's a climb about where you're looking right now, where that water tower is. That's a good, 10-15% climb with at the very end there's a uptick of, it's about a 20% incline. So there's some fun steep stuff here at the end. And then we roll along the top of this fire road out the west side of Powder Canyon. So yeah, on a clear day, you're gonna get great views of Mount Baldy and all the mountain ranges to the north, and ocean, and Los Angeles skyline in the distance as well. Then we'll just kind of come back through some of the Heights roads and La Habra Heights, and one of the great things about this area, and I think one of the reasons Maverick is in such a good position, is there's so many fun little offshoots in the hills above Whittier and La Habra. East and West Road runs from Harbor Boulevard, basically comes out, I would say maybe a block from where Maverick is, and you can take that east-west road on a road bike or a gravel bike, and you can connect so many different fun little hilly climbs. So we're going to be just kind of sampling all the good stuff. That's the way I'm thinking of it, kind of my favorite things from the area.
Wow. Yeah, you gave a great step-by-step here of the whole thing. Yeah, we did the 7th Street loop, my front camera wasn't really working, and then my rear camera got really dirty. So this was kind of like an opportunity for me to have a little payback and try and get it right. So I'm going to try and have everything tuned in and, ready for it. I get this question all the time. What size tires would you recommend to the general audience?
I don't think like a 40 is fine. You could do it on, I would say a 40 or bigger is ideal, because there's some chunky kind of loose rock sections on some of the fire roads. But that being said, like you could definitely get by on anywhere from a 30 to 35 if you had to. The most technical spot is that 7th Street loop, and if you take it slow, I don't think it's too. You could do it on a 30 or 35, anywhere between there. But I think ideal is in the 40 to 50 range, which is kind of your typical gravel range.
And Kevin, you've done all these roads too as well.
Not exact the same routes, but yeah, like long ago.
Well, I know there's a lot to pick from over here. Now, I also want to bring up, I guess, on Saturday that there's going to be some burgers set up over there afterwards, and I definitely purchased one that got eaten. It was pretty nice. It was riverbed bones. So tell us a little something about that.
I just spoke to them last time that they sold it way too quicker than they expected. So I told them just bring over. They said they're gonna bring more than they can carry, so there won't be sold out, or we'll have enough burgers.
Is there going to be like an 18-wheeler that's going to be dropping burgers off?
Yeah, I guess.
Or a helicopter that'll resupply.
Yeah, helicopters.
And then one other thing was, and then afterwards, people will just come and just hang in the parking lot, and just definitely people should bring their own chairs, because we probably have a big crowd. But I was telling people on the thing to park on the street that's on the northern edge. What's the name of that street?
Oh, also, I'm trying to
Let me try
Sorry,
again. I think it's probably me.
I kind of missed it.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying I might be throwing some fun like quick events end of the ride, like maybe after burgers. I'm gonna make some spicy noodles, like a spicy noodle challenge. So we have a rules, and if someone can finish within a couple minutes, yeah, you get a prize. I might prepare, I don't know, maybe 5, 6 spicy noodles, and yeah, anyone can try.
Well, I don't think it's going to be me, even though somebody said that they need another good shot of me trying down a burger. I don't know if I'm the best eater that can definitely pull that off, but I'm telling people to show up at 8 a.m. for coffee, and then we'll roll right at 8:30 and get back around lunchtime. And as Brandon mentioned, we'll stop for water at around mile 20. But gosh, I mean, you gave such a robust breakdown. I'm just like, that doesn't seem like only 30 miles, but I felt the same way when I did that other ride, because I think I only did 25, and it's just, bam, 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 a lot of features thrown in. So do you guys have anything to add before I'll see you in 5 days? 4 days? 4 days.
4 days.
I'm excited. I'm excited to ride some of my favorite routes and hopefully introduce some new people to the area and show them what's fun out here.
And Kevin, you're just going to be working on just
a
nuclear explosion spice level between now and then.
Yeah, making coffee and then cooking noodles. Yeah.
Well,
I can't wait to
appreciate
see you all on Saturday.
Oh, yeah, I know this is a highlight. I love when people put their heart and soul into cycling. Building the community is a huge part of what we do. It's not just the riding all the time, but everything that makes us more interconnected. And I can already tell that from the other event that you have already helped build that in the area. So thank you. And yeah, I'm excited, and I hope a lot of others get introduced to this shop as well this Saturday.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Kevin and Brandon. And yeah, let's sleep up, and we're going to be well rested and ready. Okay.
All right. Good to see you. We'll see you on Saturday.
All right. Take care, guys.
All right. Great to see you guys.